like I said, the important thing is for us to think about the ramifications. If we send more troops in there, we're just going to potentially be sending more people to die. And if going to war with Iran is not the same as going to war with Iraq. Iran has way more resources than the Iraqis and even Syrians. This could potentially spark a huge, uh, Everybody talks about World War III. This is a possibility because if we fight with Iran, Iran is backed by Russia, and so today I wanted to talk about the three soldiers that were killed in Tower 22 on January 28th. It was a Sergeant William Jerome Rivers, 46, Specialist Kennedy Landon Sanders, 24, and Specialist Brianna Alessandra Moffett, 23. They were all National Guard. Is it National Guard or Reserve soldiers? Fallen troops are all a member of Army Reserve 718 Engineer Company. They so the drone hit containerized housing units. At least 34 of the service members were injured in the attack, including 8 who required medical evaluation from Jordan, said Central Command. Iran-backed militia groups supported by the Iran Revolutionary Guard launched the drone, according to U.S. officials. The drone hit the soldiers' housing units, the Army release said, adding that an investigation into their death was on the way. The remote base where the soldiers were killed, Tower 22, houses approximately 350 American troops, according to Central Command. It provides engineering, aviation, and logistical support to other U.S. facilities in the region, including Garrison Al Taft, Syria, some 12 miles north. The 718 Engineer Company, part of the 926 Engineer Brigade's 926th Engineer Battalion, is headquartered at Fort Moore, Georgia, and consists of primarily part-time soldiers. It's unclear whether the injured included troops from other units or not. Okay, let's see. Where is Tower 22 on the map? Tower 22 is right here. Looks like the northwest is so to direct north is Syria. This is Jordan. Not imagine this is Iraq. I believe this is Iraq over here. So Iraq, they're bordered by Iraq to the northeast, and straight north is Syria. Yep, it's Area 55. I think it said it has some 7,500 soldiers, but Tower 22 has 350. So it's in Jordan to the northeast, and to the east of it is Iraq, and then to the north is Syria. So whenever I find out. So they're just a support operation. The military base was attacked in Jordan where 3 troops were killed. Little discussed, U.S. military desert outpost on the far reaches of northeastern Jordan has become the focus of international attention after a drone attack killed 3 American troops and injured at least 314 others there. The base is known as Tower 22, sits near the DMZ on the border between Jordan and Syria along a sandy bulldozed berm marking the DMZ's south edge. The Iraqi border is only 10 kilometers away. The area is known as Rukban, a vast arid region that once saw a refugee camp spring up in Syrian side over the rise of the Islamic State's group so-called caliphate from 2014. At its height, over 10,000 people lived there, blocked by Jordan from coming across into the kingdom at the time over concerns about infiltration by the extremist group. Those concerns grew out of a 2016 car bomb there that killed several Jordanian border guards. The camp has dwindled in size since some 7,500 people because of a lack of supplies reaching there, according to. So, Tower 22 housed 350 people. The whole camp had roughly 7,500 people. The base began as a Jordanian outpost watching the border, then saw an increased U.S. presence after Thereafter, American forces entered Syria in the late 2015. The small installation includes U.S. engineering, aviation, logistic, and security troops, with about 350 U.S. Army Air Force personnel deployed there. So, okay, so we only have 350 of our troops. I just said that we had since dwindled. Okay, so it's dwindled down to 7,500 people, but I guess Tower 22 has 350 people. The base location offers a site for American forces to infiltrate and quietly leave Syria. A small American garrison at Al Taft in Syria is just 20 kilometers, 12 miles north of Tower 22. That base is along a Syrian highway leading to Iraq and ultimately Mosul. Once a prominent base of the Islamic State group, is also a potential weapons shipment route over the road for Iran. So I guess that paralleling this border is a road that ships that Iran uses to ship weapons, I'd imagine. So so what, right? The thing to consider here is, so I wouldn't it's not a false flag, but due to the American outrage, it's very easy for us to go to war right now. Three of our people were killed, and religious text indicates an eye for an eye. But I think it's paramount that we take a step back as a people and as a government to understand where we are. This was they 9/11 prompted us, and everybody at the time believed that it was the right thing to do to go to war. And if you say you weren't one of those people, that's bullshit. Everybody, it was overwhelming support for George Bush to take us to war after 9/11. They have recently talked about implementing drone strikes and things like that, but this area, as it mentioned in that article I just read, is basically arid desert and mountains. If you go on a bombing campaign, the same thing will happen in 2001. If you ever read the book, The Only Thing Worth Dying For, it talks about the invasion of Iraq shortly after 9/11, or a special a group out of Fort Campbell, Fifth Group, when it invaded, but the government had wanted to soften the target before they sent military troops there, so they found several targets. But once the forces or the militias that were on the ground, realizing that the Americans were bombing things from the sky, they just retreated into caves, and those caves are incredibly difficult. Those are hard targets. You can't hit those. The only way to get the enemy troops inside of those caves is to send manpower. There's no, I mean, maybe targeted drones would be able to fly into those caves and explode, but there's no guarantee that it'll you'll get no confirmation of deaths if you just send a drone in there. Like I said, the important thing is for us to think about the ramifications. If we send more troops in there, we're just going to potentially be sending more people to die. And if going to war with Iran is not the same as going to war with Iraq. Iran has way more resources than the Iraqis and even Syrians. This could potentially spark a huge, uh, Everybody talks about World War III. This is a possibility because if we fight with Iran, Iran is backed by Russia and China to some extent. The Allied forces, again, we have plenty of backing. The U.S. also has the strongest military in the world. I'm sure everybody knows that, but invading a country where it's heavily mountainous, the terrain sucks. It's it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to do. Even if you have air support, some of these attack helicopters or AC-130 gunships, flying over those mountains, it takes not only does it take a lot of fuel, but they some of these countries are supplied with air to ground missiles from Iran that can shoot our planes down. I think it's I think it's paramount that our government try to get these Islamic um, nations to the table and talk about a solution where we're not just killing each other's soldiers. I care mostly about our soldiers, but I'm an American, so. But like I said, Who knows, right? You could use a war to gain political power, as we've seen Nikki Haley and a bunch of other Democrats, or not Democrats, but Republicans. Well, Democrats and Republicans alike, because they're lobbied and paid for by some of these companies. But that was all I had for today. Hopefully, we don't go into another war. I think we've been in war for the last 23 years, most of my life. But I'll catch you guys on the next video.